guys, and welcome to Coloritaville. Today I have a review and demo of the Ojofo 49 brush markers. These are alcohol markers. Ojofo had contacted me and asked me if I would take a look at these and see what I thought. So I'm making a video today to show these to you guys, and we'll talk about these a little bit, and I'll do a little bit of a demo. All right, so they do come in a like the nylon type, and I mean, this may not be considered nylon, I'm not sure, type case that is zippered. And they do have the 3 sections inside, that in each section of these there is actually an individual slot for each of these markers to go into. So it really does help keep them organized. You can put them in any color order that you would like to put them in, so they're easy to keep organized in their storage pouch. And you know, a problem that I've had in the past with markers that come in these type of cases, of course, is they get all, you know, mixed up inside of here and you can't find them, or they fall over in the case, and it ends up being, you know, kind of messy. And that's why in the past I've not even kept the markers in the case. I apologize for the blurriness. It's just because you're so close to my camera. Once we get started, everything will clear up. So this is what the inside of the case looks like. The marker comes with 48 colors. That is to include the black. It also comes with a colorless blender and a highlighting pen, gel pen. That's white for highlighting, so that's really neat. And the markers, I'm just going to grab one out. This is Vivid Red, which is number 4. And it has the number very clearly written on the top here. And it has the name of the company and everything. It's in a silver, so it's a little hard for my eyes to truly make out. But it does have a brush here to show you that this is the brush end. And it has the chisel end here to show you that this is the chisel end of the marker. So you'll be able to tell which end you're working with, which is nice. And it has a little bit of a lip on each side here. I'm not sure if that would maybe keep the caps from rolling. The actual pen itself is kind of a triangular shape, so that should definitely help also. If you drop the pen, it should pretty well, it rolled then, but you know, it's not going to roll too far because of its shape, because it is kind of the triangular. It's circle at the top. However, the actual marker, when it gets down into the marker, into the cap, it is a rounded triangular shape. So it does feel comfy in your hands. And, you know, that's something that I like to look for in markers. So open this up. And I mean, the caps are on relatively tight, and I like that too also. This is your brush end of the marker. And they all did seem very juicy to me when I tried these markers. That's something else that I'm always looking for when I buy a marker. I really want a juicy marker. And the chisel ends, it's pretty standard chisel. Good snap when you put those back on. So yeah, I mean, I think the markers are really neat. The brush end, I did test these a little bit, and I was putting some pressure on there, and it is fairly flexible. Can you guys see that? It really is fairly flexible, and that impressed me a lot, because a lot of these markers that I get are some type of like a felt, and if you push them, they literally, if you push a little too hard, they'll literally just kind of fall apart and disintegrate. And these don't seem to be doing that. They're not as flexible as like your Copic or your Prismacolor brushes, but they do have flexibility. I do think they're a better quality material that they're made out of. When I push on this, like with my nail, I don't see the fibers trying to come apart or anything like that, which I think is very good and very important with a brush marker. Because in my opinion, if it, you know, the ones that are the more felt type, they fray very easy, and once they start fraying, it to me, it defeats the purpose of having the brush marker to begin with. I like to be able to get into small areas and to get true brush strokes in. And, you know, a good brush tip is very important for that. Okay, so let me give you guys a look at the color range that you're going to be looking at in this. I'm using the swatch book that Patty Duffy sent to show the swatches in. I'm going to leave a link also to these swatch books. This is the regular swatch book for colorist and other artists, and she also has one that is grayscale. I'll leave links to that in the description of the video so you can find these if you're interested in that also. And let's see. Okay, here we go. This is the first page of the swatches for these. And then this is the second page. So first, second. Okay, and just so you guys can see here, this was the colorless blender. It does definitely, it's a nice and juicy colorless blender. You know, it gets into that and breaks that up for those of you that like using the blenders. This is actually the white highlight pencil, or the, excuse me, gel pen, the white highlight gel pen on top of the black marker. So you guys could see that also. So again, we'll take a look at these colors. There's not a lot in the purples range. Of course, most marker sets aren't. There's a lot of different types of shades of yellows and into the oranges. There's a decent amount of browns, I think, in different shades. Pinks have a couple to choose from. I would like to see maybe something a little lighter than this that is still a pink and not more of a peachy tone. But I mean, that's okay. You have this, which is your vivid purple. Of course, it could go, it's not, you know, like purple, but okay. And then you have this one, and it's a little different. I mean, this light violet is maybe a little lighter than that. So I think this is more maybe in the violet, but this was actually listed as a pale blue. So when I was just kind of trying to get the markers in order, I just kind of threw it in with blues, and it did turn out to be more of a purple in its actual color. And then when you get into your blues, you really, in my opinion, you don't have enough blues here, because you have, this is your absolutely lightest blue that you truly have. And this is your absolute darkest true blue color that you really have before you come into more of your blue greens and whatnot. So I think it's definitely, it is lacking in blues, if those are important to you. And of course, when you look at your greens, you have your more blue green colors here. And then you come into your yellow greens and then into your other shades of green. So, I mean, I think for this small, the set, I think the greens are okay. I mean, I do. I think the green range is okay. I definitely think it could definitely have more blues in there. Of course, I love purples, but I don't expect to see a lot of purples. But of course, you do get the benefit of this pale blue, which is could go as like the lightest purple, you know, light to there. I mean, I'm not sure. Okay. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Everybody truly has their own opinions and their own thoughts when it comes to what colors they like to see inside of a marker set. But I think you're good as far as your yellows for sure, and your browns. And then of course you have your cool grays from Cool Gray 0.05 up to Cool Gray 8. And your warm grays from 0.5 up to warm gray 8, and then your black. So that's your color range on those. I'm going to keep this out and keep this handy just so I can kind of go back and forth, so I can kind of see what colors I want to use. And I was just going to try to lay some of this down, some ink down for you guys today, just kind of so you can see how the markers work. And the book I grabbed to work in is 100 Mandalas, Stress Relieving Mandala Designs for Adults and Relaxation. It's actually by Mantra Craft. I'll leave a link to this in the description also, in case, you know, you happen to be interested in this book. There's a lot of different types of mandalas to work on inside the book. Give you a little quick look. There's the ones I've colored. Okay. So I'm going to move my microphone over just a little bit. I hope that you guys are still going to pick me up okay with the microphone moved, but we'll work on this image a little bit. I probably won't do the entire image on camera, but we'll definitely get some ink down so you guys can kind of get an idea. I'm going to start with 18 Peach, I believe. I'm just kind of choosing different things that I can use here. Throw down. I'm gonna zoom in a little for you guys so y'all can See ink go down a little better. And these markers, it looked like, I looked on Amazon at the time that I'm making this video. The markers were priced at $27.99, I believe. There'll be links down in the description where you can take a look at those yourself if you're interested in those. You can also keep an eye on them and, you know, keep them there, put them on your wish list, think about that for a little bit. Okay, I think I've had some camera failure. Are we back? All right, sorry about that. I had a little bit of camera failure there for a minute. If you guys, I hope everything went okay with the recording and you guys could still hear me okay, but my camera just kind of, for whatever reason, locked up there. I'm not sure what that was about. And I do believe that this particular book is printed on the Amazon type paper. So it also gives you an idea. Like I said, these markers, they do seem very juicy to me, but there's not a lot of excess bleeding even on this, you know, thinner paper, which I think that's definitely a plus for these markers. So I hope everybody's been doing really well. I'm trying to get back into the swing of making videos on a regular basis here on the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying me being back a quarter of as much as I'm enjoying being back. It's really nice. Sometimes I've got a lot of brain fog lately. So you'll notice at times that I'll kind of stop, like I'm kind of lost in my thoughts. I'm really, and I'm trying to regroup in my head so I can get myself back on track. I'm not sure what's causing that. We do think that we're going to be looking at a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. So, and it's really, really starting to affect me a lot, between having a lot of fatigue and body aches and pains and things like that. So my neuropathy is getting worse. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go see a neurologist soon, or I forget the type of doctor that my husband has seen, and I don't think it's an endocrinologist. I don't think that's that. I don't think that's right. But I'm probably gonna have to go see them to try to get a little better diagnosis as to what's going on. I'm not sure, you know, we're not sure if there's really any kind of treatments that's truly going to help me, because I can't take a lot of the medications that are specifically used for people with fibro. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge figuring this out. So I appreciate all of your patience. It means the world to me. I know you guys have really stood by me through a lot of things, and I really appreciate it. You're a great group of people. I think this color is laying down really well, and I mean, if you guys can actually see, you know, you can definitely flex these brush nibs, and I think that's really good. You know, I'm accustomed to the more budget friendly brushes being, you know, much more of the stiff, more fibery felt type. got some pink on there. I think that looks really good. Good. And, you can always, if you just want to add a little something extra, this is the Cosmos that comes with a set also. You can kind of just do little things that might put some depth into the image. And it's really kind of hard to truly blend on the, the paper that's more thin, but there's a few little tricks that you can use here and there to bring a little more depth and dimension into a picture. I've been working on Coloritaville's website some more today. I'm trying to get the recommended products page up and live. I believe it's actually live now. It has a few things listed on it, but we're going to be adding a lot more to that. So there'll be a link for sure down in the bottom to the actual website, and that's where we're going to. You can sign up for a mailing list. We're going to be starting a mailing list, which will be nice, and we'll have our recommended products there. Any news and announcements, you can probably, you may even see it there before you hear it here. So just be away. And of course, we've got our Facebook group that you can join in over on Facebook, and the links are in the description for the Facebook group. Also, we have a lot of fun over there, a lot of wonderful ladies in that group. I think we may have a couple gentlemen over there also. They tend to be a little quieter in the groups. It's kind of like they're there, but they don't really ever say anything. So I don't know. Men don't talk quite as much as us women do usually. Okay, so there's the pinks that I put on. You can tell me what you guys think about that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with pale lilac, I think. And, now the caps do not stack, but we're pretty, those of us who have been using budget-friendly markers for a while, we've kind of learned that that's just kind of part of the game. Very few companies make the markers with stackable caps. Even Copic, the Copic Chow, they will stack, but the Sketch will not. And those are probably the most expensive markers on the market. So, the markers not having stackable is definitely not a deal breaker. Here in a minute, I'm going to give this a chance, to dry here, and then we're going to put marker caps on and see how close these colors are to each other. I didn't think to do that, but I like to do that. That's something that's very important to me, is to see how close the cap color is to the actual ink inside the marker. Because I use a Swatch book, and faithfully. But there may be a time you grab your markers and head out the door and you don't have the Swatch book with you, or some of you may not like to swatch. I've actually heard several people who have never swatched anything, and so ink that matches is a pretty big deal to those people. So we're going to check that here in just a second. I think that's an important thing to check. And as juicy as these markers are, I think that they would blend together fine. Of course, you have to get, complementary colors to go together like that. A light, medium, dark, or or at least a light and a medium or something. So when you're limited on colors, it's kind of hard to find markers that, you know, blend really well in the smaller sets. Excuse me. But I do feel like these would blend. Of course, as the marker begins to, the ink begins to get lower, it becomes harder to blend. The more dry a marker is, the harder it is to actually blend at that point. Okay, can you guys see the lid color against that? And I'll grab, remember I put the Cosmos on too, but this is the base peach, so it's the lighter color. So there you go. So you can get kind of an idea on that as far as, and I think those are, they're close. I mean, they're not dead perfect, but I think they're close. And that's good to know. And then I'm going to use some of this pale blue, I think, because it seems to be a little darker than this. I'm just kind of going to do the same thing that I did on the others. You know, there's no right or wrong way to color. So you just got to experiment and see what works for you. And, you know, if you can achieve a look that you like, then that's all that matters. Go. Okay. Oh, a little too much there. It's okay. My hands feel a little shaky. Okay. Okay. Looks good. You think? I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me see. What can I do now? I think I'm gonna go. Let me look at this swatch. Oh, it's better in the light. You know, I think I'm going to use the Pastel Green, which is actually, in my opinion, more of an orange. Or not an orange, excuse me, a yellow. I actually put it with the yellows when I swatched it. I think when it dries, it looks more yellow anyway. And of course it doesn't on here. Once I start coloring underneath this light, I'm like, oh, maybe that does look a little green. Oh, we're going to run with it. And again, the marker seems pretty juicy. It's got a good flexible nib. You know, it's not as flexible as your Copics or your Prismas, but at this price point, I do not expect it to be. I think sometimes we expect too much when it comes to more budget-friendly things. We'll kind of nitpick and things like that and find the things that we don't like about them and not focus on the attributes that we do like. So you know, it's kind of like you can't buy a Toyota Corolla and expect it to be a Ferrari. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with a Corolla. Not at all. But it's never going to be a Ferrari. That actually happened to me once. I was shopping for a vehicle several years ago, And I was just looking for a economical, gas-friendly car. This was back when the gas prices had gotten so expensive. And, yeah, like they're not expensive now, but they're not as bad as they were a few years back. And I had stopped at a Ford dealership. And I was just kind of looking around to see what they had. And in the conversation, because I own a Ford Mustang now, but I owned one many years ago, and I did not own one, of course, at that time. But the dealer was kind of asking me about different kinds of cars I'd had before. He was just kind of trying to get an idea. Let me go on with pastel yellow a little bit. And he was showing me this. Oh my goodness! For some reason, the only car I can think of right now is like the Ford Escort, but this was not an Escort. It was a budget line Ford car, but they had another name for it then. I can't, it was kind of like the Escort, but it wasn't called Escort, I don't think, because they didn't have Escorts then. They had already quit selling them, I'm pretty sure. But at any rate, the guy knew that I had owned a Mustang in the past. And whatever this little car was he was showing to me, it he kept, because it was a little souped up little car, okay, for what it was, its little 4-cylinder souped up, quad 4 engine, whatever they called it, and everything. And it had sports suspension on it, and it had a spoiler and ground effects and all these things. And every time he was pointing these different things out to me that this car had on it, he would go, it's got this like a Mustang. It's got that like a Mustang. It's got this like a Mustang. And I finally stopped the man and I said, sir, with all due respect, none of that will ever make this car a Mustang. So I ended up getting off that car lot pretty quickly because it was very obvious to me that he was just out to try to sell me a car, and he was trying to prey on my wants and desires, not on my needs. And I had already told him exactly what my needs was. And of course, even then, my wants and desires would have been to have had another Mustang. But, Mustangs weren't going to get the gas mileage I wanted. Mustangs were not in the price range that I was looking at. So it was so irritating to me that he kept saying, like a Mustang. And, I was like, you can take a pig and throw lipstick and a dress on it, but it's still a pig. And I wasn't, insulting the car. I'm sure it was a good little car. I'm sure, all of that. But, I mean, you can't expect, my whole point is you cannot expect certain things just because something is similar. I'm sure you guys get where I'm going with that. I get to rambling sometimes and I'm not even sure where I'm going with it anymore. All right, I see I missed I should have done this yellow, and I missed that, so I'm going to have to go back and add that. Yeah. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and make this blue while I'm here. Of course, we all know when Donna colors, Donna always forgets something. You guys, please leave me comments. Tell me what you guys have been coloring on, what you've been doing, how you've been doing. Say hello. I mean, give me a shout out because I haven't heard from so many of you in so long, and I really look forward to getting back in touch with you guys. So yeah, please, please, please leave me some comments, show me some love so I can show you some love back. And of course, if you have any comments about these particular markers, if you've used them, let me know what your thoughts or experience was with these. If you've never used them, tell me what you think. This is something you would want to try. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my book within the camera angle so you guys can actually see better. Okay. I think it's actually kind of cute. Before I forget, I'm going to go back and fix. Do you see how that dried so yellow? It kind of went down looking way kind of greeny, but then when it dries, it just looks more like a yellow to me. Like there, I can definitely see the green in it, but then as it kind of dries, that look kind of fades away. I knew I wasn't crazy when I put that in there. Or maybe I was. I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Okay. I don't know how this is going to look because these blues are so far away from each other in color, at least in my opinion. If I get out of camera, I'll be back in just a second. You know, I'm just trying to get some lines on this. I don't know why my hands are so shaky. And that's just the kind of stuff I've kind of been dealing with. Again, a lot of that shakiness that I had actually kind of went away and it's starting to come back with a vengeance, it seems. I think this was pastel. There. Whew. I mean, that to me, that looks pretty pastel-y. So, I mean, you could definitely pull off some pastel looks with this. For sure. All right, give me just a second. Let me try to look at these colors for a second. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is actually put some green in it. I'm going to do 59 pale green. In here, let's see where I want to put the pale green. I don't want to make this video too terribly long since it was meant to be more of a review of these markers, but I did want to kind of give you guys a demo and say hello. You know, let you guys know I missed you. I'm still trying to get back in touch with the subscribers that we had before I took my little hiatus. And I'm going to try to make a video about that too in the coming weeks, and we'll chit chat about that. So, I mean, if you know anybody that you haven't seen around, you know, the channel or anything, by all means, reach out to them and let them know we're back. They may not be aware of the name change. So, okay. So how's the weather been for all of you guys? It has been so hot here for what seems like so long, and we're getting a little, I forgot the pink here. Oh, way to go, Donna. We're getting a little bit of a break because we've been pretty overcast with a lot of rain the past few days, so that's nice. A little bit of a break. So it's actually kind of chilly in my room. My room here, where I do all my coloring and everything, is in the direct sunlight the entire day, from sun up to sundown. So when it is super hot outside, this room, I cannot keep it cool. It'll be so hot. So the past couple days, it's been pretty nice. I've actually kept a blanket over my legs and things like that. And that's something I generally don't do unless it's winter time. So I know there's been a lot of fire in California. My thoughts and prayers go out to all of you if you're dealing with that. I know we also have some tropical depressions and things like that out there, hurricanes, and it's scary, scary. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop it there with that maybe. Come in with a grass green. And again, it's a good bit darker, so. I really enjoyed live streaming last night. If you guys haven't seen that, that is up in the channel. And Deb Lore from the Facebook group was there with me in chat. So she was chatting along with me, not just in the type chat, but she was actually in the feed chatting. So if you guys want to hear Deb, she's there in that video also. She's such a sweet person. And Renee popped in for just a moment in that also. There. So what do you guys think? I'm going to finish this up off camera just for time's sake. We're approaching 40 minutes already, but you know, I think they perform very well. I do. I think they would blend well. I think that it has a very good brush for a budget-friendly marker. I personally have not tried the Cali Art or Ojofo or any of the others that have came out with brush markers yet. I really need to try those, so I'll really be able to compare across the board. But I have tried, of course, Copics Prismas, and I've tried several of the budget-friendlies that I absolutely hated because of that fiber type tip, and it was just, it frayed too easy and things like that. So, I mean, for a budget-friendly brush, I think it's really good. It seems to be very juicy. The caps are on nice and tight. Overall, I give this a thumbs up. Truly, it's been a great experience testing these. And, you know, thank you so much, Ojofo, for sending these to me to test. I hope that you have much success with these markers and that your company will continue to grow. I would love it if you would make a larger set of these. You know, 49 for a colorist it's a good starting basic if you just want to grab some markers and, you know, take off and color. But if you're really, really into coloring, it's nice to have a much larger set to choose different colors for. So that is truly my only real suggestion that I would say about these markers. I absolutely love the fact that they are in the little, see, there's 4 in here. So I like that because they're in that. Each one of these contains individual slots for each marker. It keeps them in place. It makes them easy to find. Huge thumbs up for that, guys. I absolutely love that, the storage solution for these. That's great because I could easily see myself leaving these markers inside of this case, just grabbing the case when I wanted to use the markers and therefore I'm not having to spend the extra money that I've spent, in the past with my budget-friendly markers to buy cases that would hold them better, individually. So big thumbs up to that. Thank you guys so much for joining me today here in Coloritaville. I really enjoyed being here. Please join us over in the Facebook group. We would love to have you there. The links are down in the description. The link to the Coloritaville website that's under construction is in the description. All the links to the coloring book that I've used, the swatch book, and these markers are also in the description for your convenience. And again, I thank you. And this has been a lovely time. I'm glad I got to try these markers. So I'm going to sign out for now, and I will see you guys next time. And until then, peace, love, and happy coloring. Bye, guys.